Hanover, Germany, 1924. A skull washes up on the riverbank, then another. Within weeks, more than 500 human bones are pulled from the Leine River, all from young men, all carefully cut. The police already know who did it. They've known for weeks. He's 45 years old. He lives near the train station. He works as a police informant. His name is Fritz Haarmann. For 5 years, boys have been disappearing in Hanover. Runaways, orphans, teenagers searching for work. Most people assumed they had simply left the city. They hadn't. At least 24 are confirmed dead, possibly more than 50. Germany would later call him the Butcher of Hanover. Others called him the Vampire of Hanover. But what makes this case truly disturbing isn't just how he killed, it's how long he was allowed to keep doing it. The Butcher of Hanover. Germany, 1918. The First World War is over. The country has lost. The economy collapses. Inflation spirals out of control. Food is scarce. Jobs are scarce. Stability is gone. Hanover's train station becomes a gathering place for wandering youth. Teenage boys traveling alone, looking for work, looking for food, looking for somewhere to sleep. They are easy to overlook, easy to forget, easy to target. Fritz Haarmann notices them, and no one notices him. He lives at 27 Sellerstrasse, near the station. He survives through petty crime and black market trading. More importantly, he works for the police. Haarmann is an informant. He provides information about smuggling and criminal activity. In exchange, officers overlook his minor offenses. It's a useful relationship for everyone. In 1918, a 17-year-old boy named Friedel Roti disappears. His family reports seeing him with Haarmann. Police visit Haarmann's apartment. They hear someone inside. They search the rooms. They find another young man, a runaway, but not Friedel. Haarmann is arrested, not for murder, for violating Germany's laws against homosexuality. He serves 9 months in prison. While he's behind bars, the remains of Friedel Roti are still hidden inside his apartment. Police never look closely enough. When Haarmann is released in 1919, he resumes his life, and his arrangement with the police continues. So do the disappearances. Between 1919 and 1924, young men vanish from Hanover. Most are between 12 and 22 years old. Most were last seen near the train station. Many were seen with Fritz Haarmann. His method is consistent. He approaches vulnerable boys, offers food, shelter, safety. They follow him home. Inside his apartment, he attacks at close range. He uses no traditional weapon. The violence is intimate, sudden, overpowering. Afterward, he dismembers the bodies with professional precision. Haarmann has experience in the meat trade. Clothing is sold to second-hand dealers. Personal belongings are resold. And, according to court testimony, some of the meat may have entered the black market. In post-war Germany, few questions are asked about cheap food. The remains are discarded in the Leine River. At night, in pieces. For years, the river carries the evidence away.
Haarmann does not act entirely alone. In 1919, he meets a young man named Hans Grans. Handsome, charismatic, manipulative. The two become close. Some believe Grans encouraged the killings. Witnesses later claim that Grans pointed out certain boys, particularly those with valuable clothing. After disappearances, Grans is seen wearing garments that once belonged to missing youths. Whether he directly participated in the murders remains debated, but his influence is undeniable. May 1924. Children playing by the Leine River discover a human skull. Then another. Authorities begin systematic searches. Over several weeks, more than 500 human bones are recovered. At least 22 individuals are identified from the remains. All young males, all dismembered with skill and precision. Investigators re-examine missing persons reports. Patterns emerge. The train station, Sellerstrasse, Fritz Haarmann. Witnesses recall seeing boys enter his apartment. Second-hand dealers remember purchasing large amounts of clothing from him. Some items still bear traces of blood. The pieces finally connect. June 22, 1924. Police arrest Fritz Haarmann. They search his apartment. They find extensive bloodstains on floors, walls, beneath wallpaper. Clothing belonging to missing youths fills the rooms. Under interrogation, Haarmann initially denies everything. Eventually, he confesses to 24 murders. Investigators suspect the true number is higher. He describes his crimes calmly, clinical, detached. He claims episodes of overwhelming impulse, moments he says he barely remembers. Hans Grans is arrested as an accomplice. He denies knowing about the murders. December 1924. The courtroom in Hanover is packed. Journalists from across Europe attend. Families of the victims sit in silence. Evidence is presented. Clothing identified by relatives. Testimony from dealers. Medical analysis of bone cuts. Haarmann shows little remorse. At times he interrupts proceedings. The court convicts him of 24 murders. He is sentenced to death. Hans Grans is convicted of aiding and abetting and receives a prison sentence. April 15, 1925. Fritz Haarmann is executed by guillotine. He is 46 years old. His body is studied by medical professionals seeking answers. No clear physical abnormality is found. No visible marker of evil. Just a man. Hans Grans is eventually released years later. He never publicly discusses the case again. So how did this happen? How did a serial killer operate for 5 years in plain sight? The answer lies partly in the time. Post-war Germany was unstable. The economy was shattered. Authorities were overwhelmed. But there is something deeper. Haarmann chose victims who were easy to ignore. Runaways, homeless boys, teenagers without influence or protection. Society had already overlooked them. The police valued Haarmann's usefulness more than the complaints of desperate families. And in that space between neglect and convenience, he thrived. People wanted to believe he was a monster, a vampire, something inhuman. Because monsters are simple. Monsters are rare. But Fritz Haarmann was not supernatural. He was a man who understood which lives society protected and which lives it did not. That is the real horror. Not just what he did, but how long it was allowed to continue. 1919 to 1924, Hanover, Germany. At least 24 young men murdered, possibly many more. Their names deserved to be remembered. Their lives deserved to be valued. And their story remains a warning of what can happen when indifference becomes protection.